Right, well here we go. I've just been gluing in my kerfing that was round the edge there to thicken the edge up. We ran a bit short here, so I've just put in a bit more round here and a bit more round there. One of the major changes I've done is, if you look back there, I've actually glued in a new neck block. I've glued in a new neck block. When I was actually looking at it, the neck block I had in previously, rather annoyingly, was a bit small, a bit narrow, and I didn't want to risk the tailpiece screws, the screws on the sides of the tailpiece, like splitting the neck block. That would be a disaster. So I've put a new neck block in there that's wider. You can see, well, this needs a bit of glue cleanup, but I've also, there was a few little bits of this kerfing that had come loose with all the flexing kind of thing, but I think you know, let's have one good look at it. There we go. I mean, yeah, I'll admit it's not the highest quality luthiery, whatever you like to call it, but I've always quite liked instruments that are kind of honest inside, kind of thing. I mean, I do love the ones that are finished like the outside, but you know, most of the vintage instruments I've taken apart and repaired, that probably goes to probably round about like 15, something like that, over the years. They've never been finished inside anywhere near the quality that they are outside. I mean, these companies had to make money and they had to produce the instruments, so therefore, you know, what was inside sometimes it almost looks like scrap inside. But that be it may. Mine's a somewhere a halfway house, I guess. It looks okay, but I'm not going to spend any more time sanding the interior. I don't know what you think of it, leave a comment, but I think it's neat enough for me anyway. I mean, I could spend another I don't know, 3-4 days sanding the interior and getting it perfect, and to be honest, I'd rather spend my time on another project. Well, after yesterday, we clamped up a few like odds and ends on this. Some of these edgings had come undone, and I also needed to add a bit of edging round there, and put a new tail block in, kind of thing, a wider one, because I was a bit worried about the tailpiece screws being accepted in there. So this is kind of ready now. I'm just going to tidy up those edges, make sure they're all flat and everything ready to accept the back on the instrument, and we glued the headstock veneer on. You can see that's been extremely successful. Just got a bit of tape on here. You know, we've got a perfect joint in the middle. I actually did that with a steel ruler and a scalpel, just cut a fraction off. It's all glued nicely at the edges because we used this clamping caul that took me about a minute to make, kind of thing. Just makes an easy job of it, so we can tidy up that now. I think that looks really nice. The back, I'll just get the back. Here's the back of the instrument. Now, I'm not going to go any better than this. I mean, I could be on it weeks sorting it out, but I really don't think it's necessary for any quality of sound. I mean, obviously the outside I'll finish sanding when the instrument's together, of course, but the inside, kind of happy with it as it is. I mean, it's got a few like rough edges and stuff, but I'm really not that bothered about it. I kind of like that in a way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to paint the inside with one coat of sanding sealer. I always like to do that on my acoustic instruments because you know, of humidity and moisture absorption and things like that. I know some people don't, but I don't know why quite. You know, you finish the outside of the instrument obviously for protection and stuff, but with an acoustic instrument, you know, the inside is still as susceptible of absorbing moisture, and you'll get cracks and all sorts. So paint some sanding sealer on, but not round the glue joint where the glue joints are, obviously. So we'll get on and do that, and then we'll be ready to start preparing to join the back and the front. Right, okay, I've had a good study of this thing. Unfortunately, the whole body doesn't want to go back in the mould. It's just a fraction out in some places, which is not really surprising considering all the work we've done on it. I don't want to go shaving the mould or anything like that. I know the mould is accurate, and you know, if I ever want to build another one, I don't want to start off with a wonky mould. So I'm not too bothered really. The instrument sits nice and firm on here, so I can clamp it down to do the gluing. But what I've done is probably not what what would be the correct luthery thing. I've actually screwed the top on with 4 screws, basically 2 down here and 2 up there. It is such a fine fit, you know, to get everything right, that I just can't imagine doing it with you know, clamps. You'd be moving one and another bit would move with slidey glue and everything like that. So I'm not, again, this top was from a shelf and it's got lots of holes in it that I've filled already. There was an old screw there kind of thing that I had to knock out. You can see maybe able to see there's a hole I filled, there's a hole there I filled, there's a hole there I filled. So I've got another couple of holes that I mean, I'll obviously take the screws out and put dowels in afterwards. But at least now I can be absolutely sure that the you know, the top is going to go on in the right place, and I can get glue in it. And I think that, you know, there are slight areas of inaccuracy in it. There's a little bit there, and I'll probably have to glue a little bit on this side here, which I really don't think you'll see. But apart from that, you know, I think we're pretty good really. So what I'll do now is, like I glued the back on, I'm going to make a load of clamps that I can put round the sides and stick everything down. So, you know, it's going to be an all-day job, I think, to stick this on. You know, one thing I would like to sort of say, well, actually, I'll get on with sticking it down, and then I'll do a bit of waffle at the end when all that's done. And let's go. Well, here you go. Quite a bit of time later. You see my odd clamping technique. I guess, you know, looking back over it, I would have probably, in hindsight, actually trimmed the mould to so I could have got the thing totally inside, because as I was trying to clamp down some of the sides, sort of the top was coming down, and as I was clamping, the side was easing out. I mean, it wasn't a problem really. I just basically did the clamps a little bit softer. I mean, there was plenty of squeeze out. You always tend to clamp as hard as you can, but in this case it's not really necessary. But I've put the clamps, and I've got some conventional clamps up here and at the bottom that I could get on, and then these clamps are solidly turned down. I mean, you can tell when it you know, when you clamped enough, because glue starts, you know, you get a good squeeze out of the glue, which is what you're aiming for, really. But we've got the top on, the back on, and I think there's going to be quite a bit of work to get it to look nice. Yeah, excuse me. Here we are again. Well, after getting the body back glued on, turned my attention to doing the top. There's the veneer all nicely done. It's quite easy to trim to the sides of the headstock. I just use a scalpel and a metalworking file. Don't use anything too harsh. You can see I've damped it off a bit there, just to give you an idea of how nice that grain will look. So it obviously needs a bit more tidying up, but I think that's going to look cool. So what next we've got is we've got this like crescent moon and star to put on the end there. I had a look. I've got a closer picture of the headstock, and basically it's a pearl inlay. I've got some pearl sheet, so I can cut that sort of stuff out, and we'll get on with that next and try and get that inlaid in here. Yeah, I've just started trying to cut the half moon out. I've drilled a 30mm hole. I reckon the outside diameter of it is 35mm from scaling it, and the inside 30. So I've cut with a Frosner bit the 30mm. Now I'll try and cut around and see if I can do that. Thing with this stuff is it's actually nitro, what is it? So it's celluloid. So yeah, you can't work it too hard, otherwise it ends up catching a light. So got to be a bit careful with it. But anyway, yep. So I'll basically see if I can do it with the tin snips actually. Right, well we've got it like roughly close. The inside's obviously nice and perfect because I drilled it out, but I'm going to file that by hand. I did try on a sander once, and this stuff did not take long at all to catch a light sort of thing, so I'm just going to take it easy with a file. Okay, made quick work of that. It's quite soft stuff actually. I mean, it's not like the pearl, you know, the really hard stuff. I mean, this is plastic. One thing I would mention is, you know, I marked it out there first of all, and then I thought, oh, it's a bit of a boring bit of, you know, one shade. So I moved it around a bit so it's, you know, got a nice mottle to it, sort of thing. So we've got that now that will go there. So the next bit really is to mark around it and carefully cut a recess. I'm only going to cut it probably as deep as the veneer and then glue it in and sand it back. So that's what typically is the case, sort of thing. There we go. So I mean, the Gibson logos are typically only 0.5 mil, not a millimetre thick, something like that. So let's get on and do that. To actually do the hole for the inlay, if you like, the rebate for the inlay, I've got the, you know, the essential Dremel sort of thing, and I've got like a router base to it. This is a Stumac one, but you can get similar ones anywhere. It does make doing it a lot easier than by hand, but it's not impossible by hand. I mean, I actually basically cut round the edge of my shape with a scalpel first of all, and then use this, and so that the actual cut mark of the scalpel leaves it. But I'll just do a little bit over here in the corner, and you can see how things progress. So you can see I've made the start now. I mean, obviously I've got to do the corners with a scalpel, or I've probably got a smaller router cutter for the Dremel, but I'll finish them off with a scalpel. So probably got a bit of fitting to do and stuff, but it will go in there. I might actually do it a little bit deeper, but we'll see. I mean, I can see that I will have to fill a bit around the edge, sort of thing, but you know, that's not too bad. So I'll just get fettling that by hand and see how it goes. Okay, here you go. Here's the rebate for the moon. Sort of fits in like really nicely. There we go. So I mean, that will be glued in, obviously super glue, and then filed down. I mean, it's only standing proud by about probably not even 0.5 millimetre sort of thing. So now we'll get on and try and do the star. Really pleased with that actually. Well, I'm really happy, very happy in fact. I didn't think it would come out quite that nice, but there's the star and half moon, and it is on the original Gibson there. So I think that's quite nice. I'll glue them in now with super glue and put a bit of dust just around one of the corners of the stars. Is a bit rough, but cutting out the star was actually probably the most difficult bit. But looking at the Gibson one, it's actually a bit wobbly as well. So yeah, I'm not unhappy with it at all. So yeah, I'll get gluing them in. Well, good morning everybody. I think it's morning. I've just come in the shed, and yesterday we were gluing the back of the instrument to the front. I mean, let's not underestimate this. It's a bit of a milestone moment, and I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. I've taken it off the mould and undone all the clamps, and you know, you can't see how things are when you know, you've got 101 clamps on it, kind of thing. I mean, yeah, it's always a worry sort of thing, but here we are. We have got a lyre shaped mandolin box, and I'm really pleased with it. There's only a couple of areas that aren't trimmable, sort of thing, that I'll need to add a bit of wood. I mean, there's that tiny bit on there. I mean, literally you're only looking at like I mean, it might sand in, I don't know, but I might add a little bit on there, but other than that, I think it's absolutely fine. These swan necks here, I don't know, I'll see how they go. Once I start sanding and shaping, they might actually be okay, but I might like cut a little bit out of there and put a bit in. I mean, you won't notice it at all, not with a grain on this wood, but I might not. They might actually come out okay. And obviously I got a bit of damage to this foot here, sort of thing, which is a bit annoying, but like I say, that's all battle scars from building, and I'm confident I'll be able to fill those in. So what I'm going to do now, let's even have a look, as we did the old neck yesterday. I can fit that in, and here we go. We've actually got the darn thing looking like a musical instrument. That's pretty, isn't it? Yeah, when you get to these sort of milestone moments, it's very satisfying, you know. And now I'm at that stage where I feel as though I've done all the difficult bits. I mean, I must admit, this instrument has been really pushing my you know, my knowledge on making instruments and things, and there's lots of things that have been outside my comfort zone. So I'm really pleased to get it to actually achieve, you know, something that looks like a musical instrument. And yeah, so anyway, let me get sanding and preparing I'm just going to basically clean up all the sides, all the edges, so it's going to take quite a while. So, but I'll get you back for another look. I mean, I've actually already trimmed these feet off of the overhanging thing, and as I said, I'm going to build basically cut blocks like this out some attractive, and then put new feet on the end, and that's going to look a lot better than the original, I think, anyway, because you won't see the change in wood, pattern, you know, species there, sort of thing. It'll just look like flowers. It will look really nice. So, wow, really happy with that. Really happy with it. It's just so cool. Quite big for a mandolin, but there we go. Yeah. The only thing is, I know once it's finished it's going to sound like shit, so, but there we go. I'm going to get sanding. Well, I've been at this on and off all day long. It's all hand work, and what I've been trying to do is get the back settled in, if you like. Things I've been doing is this beading sort of rebaited bit round the edge. I've been making that the same thickness as the front, sort of thing, reprofiling all these edges and neatening them up so they all look reasonably the same. Also, I've done been roughing out the neck heel as well, kind of thing. So it's all pretty much coming together now, and honestly, okay, there's a few bits that aren't ideal on it kind of thing, but like I say, if you'd have told me it was going to come out reasonably this well when I started the project, I'd have been well happy. All the little bits that I had issues with have generally like corrected themselves as I've been sanding. The only bit that I'm not sure about is the inside here. It's already got quite a wide like landing on that rebate there. You know, at the moment it's even wider than that, but it doesn't quite, you can see just in there, you can just see the side of the instrument sticking out. So I'm not really sure what to do with that yet. I haven't decided. I mean, you know, I could cut a piece out and let a whole piece in and you know, redo it, or I could just add a little bit on here to cover the edge of the body there, but you'd still have the landing. I mean, a bit of sanding and tidying up might hide it a little bit. I'd have to, you know, cast my eyes over it in a few days sort of thing, and just think about it basically. There's a few bits where I don't quite know what happened. Like you can see there, there's quite a gap there. I mean, I'm not bothered because it's solid in there anyway. So what I think I'll do is I'll just get a thin veneer of this mahogany and cut a little wedge and stuff it in there. I mean, it'll be all right. But really, the only other bits I haven't really done much to them yet is these round here. I mean, they might sand in okay, I'm not sure, but I might have to redo those by letting in some wood. I'm not sure, but you know, overall, like I say, I'm like really happy with it. It's, you know, it's been a very difficult job, and to come out this well, one of the things I'm really happy I did was cut off these feet, so I've got room to get files and everything in there. Is brilliant. And like I say, I'll just be gluing another foot on there sort of thing, so I can make all 4 feet match. And are they feet or swan necks or beaks or whatever, and then I can glue them on and they'll all look the same. So yeah, there's a lot of tidying up to do, but well happy. I've also trimmed the tenon on the neck heel, so we've got a good, the neck goes right the way down now into the instrument, so we can see there that everything is really good. I'll be trimming the neck off, obviously in typical fashion here, just to leave a little step, but you know what I mean, there's the back of it there, and there's the front there now, so it's really coming on nicely, so well happy with that. And yeah, we'll I think it's going to be probably 4 or 5 days sanding before I'm reasonably happy enough to go on to any next major woodwork sort of thing, like doing these feet things on there and whatnot. But wow, pleased with that. Hi, well I spent the best part of yesterday sanding and carving the body to better shape kind of thing, you know, just the edges and all that I went over yesterday. Have to say I'm a bit like worn out from doing that, so I think I'll concentrate on the neck today a little bit, try and get that back up to speed. You can see originally that I gave this portion of the neck, like when I cut it out roughly, plenty of meat there sort of thing, as I wasn't sure, you know, where the neck was going to fit on the body, etc. and all that. Now obviously I know I can finalise a neck heel shape sort of thing. I didn't like the original joint on the guitar, or the look of it. I don't know what the joint was actually like, but the look of it, I just thought it looked very bulky. So I'm going for a more traditional kind of guitar style neck joint. So here, I don't know whether you can see, but what I'm going to do is, you can see where the neck's the neck is too long here. I'm going to cut it off sort of where that line is, so there's a little step which is very typical of a guitar, and then also think you should be able to just see where I've actually drawn in the profile that I want on the heel. So I'm going to get cutting that first of all, and then we'll move on to shaping the neck. I should add that I've taken, I've got that F5 mandolin drawing. I've taken the sort of size of the neck heel from that really and put it on here, so it's going to be nothing unusual, so to speak. So we'll get cutting this to shape. Okay, well, this is what I've done. I've cut the curve on the head, cut the neck heel a lot thinner, ready for carving to shape. I've also taken the neck down to the sort of near the final thickness. One important thing before you start carving, make sure that the neck is flat, sort of thing. You don't want any wibbly wobbliness in it and think, oh, I'll just carve it. If you start off with it nice and square, you've got a good chance. There's a number of ways to carve necks. Obviously, a lot of people use spoke shaves, which is fine, and I don't think there's any right or wrong way, but there's a very safe way that I've come across. It's not an invention by me or anything. I see several luthiers using the same technique, and basically you draw a center line down the neck, and then another line between that center line and the outer edge, and then a line on the side, sort of thing, and you cut a series of flaps kind of thing around the neck, and that ensures that at least you're going to get the neck symmetrical. We'll do it, and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, measure the width of the neck. I mean, I know what it is, but so we've got 41 millimeters there, so we want 20.5 for the center. Let's mark the center. And then we come down here, that's 34 and a half, so 17 and a quarter. So then we can draw the center line on the neck. And then what you want to do is draw another line halfway between that center line and the edge of the neck. You can do this by eye, to be honest. You're likely to get it more accurate by eye, actually, I think. So right, you've got those lines drawn on here. Now do one on the side halfway down. It's about roughly halfway there. Keep the same on the other side. And what you want to do now is remove sort of this corner here kind of thing. Just take the corner off, and 101 ways to do that, but let's get the body out of the way. I'm going to end up using that as a damn workbench. Right, okay, so we've got the first two flats done. Try and be nice and accurate to the lines sort of thing. So you know those two are the same, so your neck's like parallel. So your next cut, basically what you can do is, where's my pencil gone? There we go. Draw another line halfway between where your chamfer is and the fretboard. Like I say, by eye is good enough. And then do another one this side. And then basically do another line halfway with this first chamfer you cut. And then a line halfway here. Now take out between those two, and it gets easier the more you do, because the flats get less and less wood to remove sort of thing. So let's take that out. So now we've got, we've got two flats on there. You basically continue doing that until you come to a nice curve. That's probably enough there, really. You've only got to round the bottom off now, and you're good with it, sort of thing. For the basics of the neck shaft, sort of thing. So I don't really need any more lines on there. We've basically now just in the 9 minutes of that video, we've got the basics done, kind of thing. And the nice thing about doing it that way is that you're building it up with a series of straights, and the advantage is you're not gonna get any hollows in the neck, which I think is horrible. Now the next bit you've obviously got to do is the transitions to the headstock and things like that. And before you finalise the shape of the shaft of the neck, I'd get these roughly done in. When you do these, just be really careful that you don't carve too low, and then so just sneak up on it a little bit. So we'll get working on that, and you can probably use my round file and do it. I have got another way. I'll show you that way, but I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner sort of thing. So I'll just take you over to my drill press here. And what we've basically got is like, can't actually see it very well, but we've got this cheese cutter kind of thing, here. I'm not sure if I've used it before, but you know, you can do bits like, I'll show you bits like this. You know, so you can basically hack that out, sort of thing, with that. I'm going to do this by hand myself because, you know, I'm used to doing guitar necks, but this is my first mandolin neck, so I'm not going to employ too many quite vicious cutting techniques. So I'm gonna work on this by hand. Just because I don't want to bugger it up, sort of thing, so after getting this far. So yep, we'll keep going. You can see now that you know, I'm roughing it out to size. I've roughing in the transitions to the headstock there. It's all still pretty rough, but getting better to shape, kind of thing. And it's kind of nice. I like to do the whole thing at once, not just concentrate on one area or something like that. So you know, you run the whole thing up to size, sort of thing. I mean, try and look out. You know, I can see that there's kind of, it's very lumpy round here, sort of thing, and not very even. So I'm gonna concentrate on the heel now and try and, you know, get that into a nice profile, sort of thing. But I mean, that's all I'm using is me round cheese grater file, the rasp, and my little Japanese file, which is great again. So it's all hand stuff, and you know, I'll just carry on with it. I mean, you saw me, like, I think, did you? No, you didn't. What I've been doing is just doing this area around here, neck heel there, and just be careful when you do that you don't take it below, you know, enthusiastically cutting that nice curve there. You don't take it below the shaft of the neck, otherwise you can't put wood back on, kind of thing. So then you have to thin the neck down a bit or start again. So just be careful, and that's why I bring things down to shape, like steadily, sort of thing. So, you know, you don't get in that situation where you've taken too much off. I can see that it's a bit lumpy just in the centre of the heel there, so you can work a little bit on that. So yeah, I mean, we're slowly getting there, and you know, just keep at it. What I think I might do now is when I cut the neck out, I left it about 1 millimetre proud of the edge of the fretboard, so I think I'll file those down now and get that more accurate. So they're more in line now, but you can see there's a giant flat on there, so you can go back and curve off both sides again. Yeah, so we get in there. I mean, if you want, I mean, this method of neck shaping will obviously do a, you know, a half round neck. One of the, you know, if you want a particular profile of neck, you know, make, you know, to copy, say, another neck, make a template and you know, a cross-section template. I mean, you could start off with I've obviously been doing it, but you can start off with one of these, press it over the neck that you want. There we go. So we got a starting point, draw that on a bit of card and cut it out. I mean, actually you can see how nicely symmetrical that is. Not too bad at all. But you know, you can do that and use templates. It's up to you. Anyway, I'll get on shaping. Well, we're getting closer. One thing I've done is I've made the neck a little bit more sort of policeman's helmet shaped, a bit pointy, what we call a boat neck shape kind of thing. So like I say, it's not semicircular, it's more of a V, if you like. When I looked on the plan of the F5 mandolin, that's what it was basically like. So I've gone to a, like I say, I've taken a bit more off the cheeks here, both sides the same. So we're really getting close now, but there's a few things I look for when I'm actually like carving a neck. And if you're carving it right, they should happen kind of accidentally. Like you can see here on this little edge here, it's kind of rolls forward a bit. And that's a result of like carving these edges sort of thing, both sides, and you tend to get this like rolled, which is really nice, and you see it on Les Pauls and whatnot. Then also, if you're carving right, you'll get this nice V profile from the headstock transitioning into the neck, and again that happens accidentally, as do on the heel this kind of radius curve where the neck becomes flat, and that's like both sides there. And like I say, they just kind of happen, so they're a nice sign. I mean, don't try and contrive to do them. As you profile the neck, they'll just start appearing, and then you know you're getting in the ballpark sort of thing. So I think really with this now, it just needs like making into a nice finish. There's this strange stain here, and it looks as though there's been a nail or something hammered through the wood, or like a panel pin or something. I see a hole like there and a hole there, and I think there's been a nail or something, which is a bit bloody annoying, but oh well, that's my fault for using wood I've got lying around rather than buying new stuff. But there we go. So I'll get sanding this now and moving on with it. Well, I think the neck is like finished now, apart from like sanding for varnish, etc. You can see we've got a really nice profile on it. You know, this V here, love that. The nice transition into the to the neck there, into the neck heel sort of thing. I'll tidy that up a bit more with sandpaper, but I think we're there with that neck profile. I think that's quite nice. I'd really like to know what that is. It didn't appear until I started carving it. It could be a touch of woodworm, I guess, or something like that. It looks as though something's like I really don't know. If anybody's got any ideas, let me know in the comments, but kind of weird, but something that I wouldn't have wanted in there if I'd have known. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine a nail going curved and coming out there, and I certainly didn't pull anything out of it, so it could well be a woodworm, but there we go. A kiss of nature, as they say. Anyway, I'll do a little bit more sanding, but you know, wasn't too arduous really. So getting there on the neck. So that's what it looks like in place now. Got a nice neck heel on it, so we're all good. I think it's time for a cup of coffee.